concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
Pagosa Springs, Colorado. Oh yeah. What's up, guys? Do you want to follow? Are we done with that song yet? It's still a good song. What do you think, chat? Should we keep using that as the opener? I mean, we're going to be like a year later. I'm still going to be using that song. New York. New York. Long Branch, New Jersey. I'm not even going to try a New Jersey accent. Broward County. Sacramento. The only California accent I know is the one from the SNL skit, The Californians, which is not, I don't think anyone in California actually talks that way. Georgia. I lived in Georgia from the age of 8 to the age of like 32. I can do a Georgia accent. Here's the interesting thing. When you move from Georgia to Tennessee, they say yins instead of y'all. Didn't know that, did you? Paris, France, my mom's house. Ah, D. Bugman 68 is at my mom's house. MC's Creations, where do you live? Tell me the name of your city, buddy. Caraguatatuba. 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 The secret to speaking Portuguese is you just have to make the whole front of your mouth really soft and lazy. Caraguatatuba, right? There's no... But Brazilian Portuguese. Brazilian Portuguese. Continental Portuguese, very different. Caragata. I spoke Portuguese very, very, very badly. I was never conversational, but I listened to a lot of tapes. Escute e entende. That's it. That's all you got. The only person who is enjoying this right now is MC's Creations. What's up, everybody? I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. It's my Q&A live stream. You ask questions, I give answers. We talk about whatever. Tonight I'm drinking lemonade and sweet tea. Sweet tea and lemonade, that's my favorite thing. And for as far as you know, that's all that's in this glass because there are children present. Here's what's going What is happening? What's happening right now? Okay. I swear I've only just started. Brad Spicer wants to know if I've heard any rumors about Fat Shark releasing a new upgraded model. The thing is, in yesterday's live stream, I said that if you were thinking of buying goggles in the next, 4 days, that you should wait. Because I saw Stu review these. This is a Sky O2. I will be reviewing these, by the way. I haven't taken them out of the box yet. I saw Stu review these goggles, and he said, everything has changed forever! As he does. Stu goes home for the holidays. His mom says, Stu, how did you like the turkey? And he says, oh, it's the best. Everything changed about Thanksgiving forever. Okay, sorry, Stu, I couldn't. And I saw and I said, wait 4 days. Now, here's the thing. The reason I couldn't say more about why you should wait 4 days is because there's an NDA about something I'm not allowed to talk about. So now I've put myself in a weird position. For the next 4 days, I can't say anything about anything that might happen. You see? Because then I'd be helping you guys home in on. So I just got to shut up and not talk. Have I heard any rumors? Someone asked, have I heard any rumors about Fat Sharks? I can't. I've stuck myself. And I did it for you. So that when whatever it is comes out, some of you are going to go, oh, I'm glad I waited. But now I can't say anything. Stu's always on the sugar high. Here's what I sincerely think about Stu. He's a jerk. No. Here's what I sincerely think about Stu. UAV Futures, in case you're confused about who I'm talking about. Stu is the master of the YouTube thumbnail and the master of the YouTube title. If you actually watch his videos, he actually does pretty balanced reviews. He's never as hyped in his reviews as his thumbnail suggests. But he's figured out that in order to be successful on YouTube, you have to get clicks. You have to get the clicks. And his thumbnails and titles get clicks. I had a bigger channel than him once upon a time. He's passed me, though. Okay, so I will not be saying anything about upcoming plans in order to protect myself from the repercussions of leaking information. I won't be talking about orcas. Or I won't be talking about Fat Shark. I won't be talking about, is there a new Sky Zone goggle? I won't be talking about anybody, because then nobody can be mad at me. If all I say is something's coming, nobody can be mad at me for leaking, because I didn't leak anything. Okay. But I'm just saying, don't buy goggles until the 13th. Okay. So here's the deal. Anthony Thurgood. Stu said you may be doing something with him a while back. I did a live stream with Stu and Botgrinder where we played Apex Legends together. We streamed it on our Twitch channel. That may be what he was talking about. Mikkel, look, here's the thing. You just bought HDOs. You bought one of the best goggles on the market. I don't think you're going to be sad that you bought them. And if in the middle of the week you decide that you wish you didn't have HDOs, someone will buy them from you for close to. But look, if you just bought HDOs, don't feel bad. I see that's the risk of leaking something like this. If you're new here, here's what I got going on. Let me just show you. What happened to my scenes? All my scenes now have a crossfade. My OBS got messed up. Hold on. My OBS got messed. There we go. I don't want a crossfade. What do you guys think? Crossfade? Yeah. What I got going on here are the chats. This is you guys in the chat. I'm looking for your questions. I'm picking out questions and I'm answering the questions as best I can. I'm going to, see, look, Berkey Patrick, this is the kind of question that's actually, unfortunately, really bad for a live stream because this is just, I'd have to like work with you for like 25 minutes to figure out what's wrong. So I'm going to be picking questions here. If you want to make sure that I get to your question, you can hit this $ right here, because these just go by so fast and furious. I can't keep up always. I do my best, but I hit the $. You hit the $ here. Your question gets pulled out like here. Thank you, Toolmaker Dave gave $2. No question, just $2. So if you want to pull your question out into the super chat, you can do that. Also, here we are. This is my Patreon Discord, my Discord server for patrons. If you want to join that, I always monitor it for questions. Hello, patrons. I always monitor that for questions as well. And there's a link to my Patreon down right below in the video description if you feel like joining that. There you go. That's the gist. So let's... Oh, we got 1 vote for Crossfade. Yeah, here's the thing. As Ian Walker says, there's always something new. There's never a perfect time to buy. If you buy something brand new, it'll be overpriced. If you buy something that's 2 years old, you'll get a good deal on it, but something else better will be coming out, and you'll be like, so you just got to decide when you're going to pull the trigger and what you're happy with. You can't, and if you buy something brand new and top of the line and the next week something better comes out, you probably can sell it for like 90% of what you paid for it and try to buy something else. Kush FPV wants to know, is RapidFire worth it? Well, Kush, boom. I feel, here's the deal. You can look at my test results and you can decide whether you think RapidFire is better. But I've decided for myself which module I want in my goggles. And no matter what the like objective test results show, personally, I think RapidFire is hands it down the best. I wouldn't want anything else in my goggles. By the way, I should say, check these out. These are a new Axie antenna from GetFPV. I hope it's okay that I'm showing them. They sent them to me. I assume that's because they wanted me to show them off. Check that out. Look at that little Axie. It's got a built-in right angle, too. That's not a right angle adapter. It's built into the antenna. Little right angle adapter there. Put them on there, 90 degrees. How about that? I like that. RapidFire. Now, here's the thing about RapidFire. RapidFire is $140, $160. It depends on... I'm not sure. It's around that price range. That is way more. That's way more expensive than the other options, right? Like for $60, $80, $90, you can get something like a LaForge, an Owl RC, an Achilles, Furious FPV Achilles. All of these are good modules. All of these you will be happy with them. If you want the best, you pay twice as much. You pay 40, 50% more. Twice as much. Yeah, I think that's right. For the RapidFire. And I don't think there's any debate that it's the best. The real question is whether it is the best or enough to make you pay the extra money. And for some people, the answer is definitely. And for other people, the answer is nah. And I get that. But I don't think, for me at least, it's the best. It's just the best. By the way, I should also show, you can see I tried painting my goggles. And by the way, do you see that color is purple and not pink? I don't know what happened to the photo on my Instagram. It looked pink. It's not pink. It's purple. It's a metallic purple. And I tried painting the whole shell that way, but it didn't come out well. So now I'm trying this. This is a stick-it skin. It's a vinyl skin for your goggles. What do you think? Look pretty nice. N8MX FPV, talking about the Arum X-Polar antennas. I mentioned this yesterday in the live stream. I sent my Arum X-Polar antennas to Alex Grieve. Hopefully he got them, and we'll be doing some testing of those antennas to see what the frickin' deal. It is not pink. You shut up. It's not pink. You shut up. You, far be it from the guy who's got metallic purple on his goggles to be offended that you think it's pink. But it's definitely not pink. It's purple. All right. The reason is this. I haven't got any problem with hot. I'll wear pink. I don't care. But pink is Willie's color. And that's what really bothered me. I posted the picture of the goggles and people went, oh, whoa, that's Willie's color. No. Purple is my color. Pink is Willie's color. That's different. Yeah, License to Drive says, yeah, but I wouldn't add the stick-it skins to my Fat Sharks because of the gaps between the stickers. And you're not wrong there. See, if you look, like you can see little gaps here. And you can get rid of the wrinkles, but there's just little bits of wrinkles too. Like just at the edges, you can use a heat gun to try and relax them, but they're still there. So it's as good as you could possibly get without painting, but in my opinion, it's not as good as painting. But painting is a frickin' hassle. So what color is Drib? I don't know. That's a good question. Is Drib purple? I don't think he's... I mean... I don't think of Drib as having a signature color. Anyway. Brap FPV gives $2 in the super chat and wants to know, what about ClearView? Isn't it better than RapidFire? Well, the ClearView module, I will say definitely no. It is not better than RapidFire. Cricket's purple. That's true. But I was purple before Cricket was purple, and I'm happy to share it with him. So... ClearView in my testing did not do as RapidFire. The ClearView module was plagued by manufacturing difficulties, and it never really... I mean, it was 2 times as expensive as RapidFire, and what I said about ClearView was, for the price of it was like $350. I said, at that price, it had better just mop the floor with everyone. And it didn't definitively beat RapidFire, and in some cases, RapidFire beat it, at which point there's no reason to pay that much for a module. The ClearView ground station, I did one test where the ClearView ground station went against the RapidFire, and it lost too. And the ClearView ground station was also like $400. So I don't feel like ClearView beat RapidFire. ClearView has a new ground station they've just announced in the last couple months that's supposed to be way, way even better. I haven't tested it yet. But for right now, if you want to put a module in your goggles, RapidFire is the best, in my humble opinion. It's also expensive. His hair was blue. Drew's hair was purple. Yeah, good point. Anyway. Yeah, there's only so many colors. Eventually, we have to overlap. What's the max gig SD card that will work with the Attitude DVR? Cush FPV asks. For most of these devices, Cush FPV, the Fat Shark DVR, your flight controllers, black box logging, most every other DVR out there, your Tyrannus or your QX7, the max size they can read is 32 gig. Anything bigger than 32 gig, they can't read it. So, there you go. What's the best antennas to use with the RapidFire? Well, funny you ask that. I'm using free plug. I'm using the new Axie V2. I think these little Axie stubbies are really cute. You could certainly get like the lollipop stubbies. A lot of people like those, and they're like half the price of the Axies. These Axies are really nice. A lot of people are discovering that 2 Omnis and stubbies, when you've got a RapidFire, it's actually nice and compact, and you still get pretty good coverage. Guillermo says my sister's poems really rock. That's creepy. I don't know what you're talking about, but please don't stalk my sister. I have no idea what you're talking about. Vampire4997 asks, I don't rock the Strix antennas anymore. I do love the Strix antennas. They're very good. When Lumineer sent me these Axie antennas, I was tempted to move away from the Strix. And I'd like to tell you it has to do with the performance or whatever, but the real reason is that they just look so cool being stuck on there, stubby, with the right angle. To be honest with you, I haven't even flown these yet. So the Strix, the Hoot antennas are still good antennas. I still have them on all my quads, but these little guys here, especially because they have the right angle adapter built in, pretty cool. Okay. Let me just get these last couple of super chats. Sunny FPV wants to know about the FAA ruling. Yeah, there's been a new FAA ruling a couple weeks ago. My understanding of it is that you are not allowed to, as a hobbyist, you may not fly except in Class G airspace. And the problem with that is that in some city areas, like there literally isn't any Class G airspace for a 45-minute drive. So it just means that there's no way for a lot of hobbyists to fly. Here's the bottom line. Most of you don't care whether you're flying legally anyway. You just fly somewhere and fly under the radar, literally. And the FAA ruling doesn't change the fact that you're going to do that. So there you go. the FAA says that they will be putting up this LAANC system, which will let you use like a phone app to request permission to fly in their airspace, but it doesn't currently exist. And right now, if you're not a 107 flyer and you're not in Class G airspace, you cannot fly legally, is my understanding. J. Wilktime FPV, yeah, these are Lumineer antennas. Lumineer is Get FPV's house brand, and Xylo is their other house brand. Okay. Toolmaker Dave, thanks for $2. Bad Habit RC, thanks for $5. I got the TrueD 3.7. Is it worth it to upgrade to RapidFire or the new TrueD? Bad Habit RC, this kind of question, is it worth it? Just depends on how much a dollar is worth to you. Depending on how much money you make, the $160 for a RapidFire, you might go, nah, who cares? Or you might go, ooh, that's a lot of money. So, I mean, how many burgers do you need to flip, or TPA reports do you need to put in to get that money? RapidFire is better. It's better than TrueD X, in my humble opinion. It's definitely better than TrueD. How much better is it? Some people would go, not that much better. Personally, I think it's a lot better, and you just got to ask yourself whether the money is worth it to you. Brandon Grade points out the LAANC system does exist at some airports. You can do it through some different apps like AirMap. That's interesting, Brandon. I guess it wasn't fully rolled out all over the world. Are the Lumineer Axie made by TrueRC? Ask RR123RR. I'm not sure who designs those, RR123. If you really want to know, you could ask GetFPV. I don't really know the answer to that. G-Nice wants to know about the foam padding on my goggles. This is the Newbie Drone goggle foam. It's awesome. In my humble opinion, it's the best. It's a little thicker. I think it's like a high density. If you've ever seen a makeup applicator pad, it's like neoprene, I think. It's amazing. I think it's the best, and I love it. You can buy it from Newbie Drone. It costs about $10. It's expensive compared to the cheaper foams. It lasts way longer, though, and it doesn't fall apart. Like the other foam just crumbles and falls apart, and you're stuck wearing Velcro on your face for the rest of the day. This stuff lasts a lot longer, and it doesn't leak. It compresses against your face. I adore it. In fact, funny story, Newbie Drone sent me a sample of this foam, and I tried it and was like, oh, it's pretty good. By sheer coincidence, like a month later, I was in San Diego, and I visited their office. And I saw a bunch of the foam over in the corner, and I was like, can I get some more of that? And they were like, yeah, we're not going to make it. It's too expensive. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, it would cost like $10. And I was like, do it. Just do it. And they made it, and I think it's been a success. Let me just pop it up here on the screen. Newbie Drone goggle foam. Newbie Drone Max Comfort goggle foam. This stuff is amazing in my humble opinion. Not everybody who has tried it loves it. Some people prefer the Fat Shark leather foam, the leatherette. I think this stuff is way better though. That's me. How's it going, Discord? Just pop over to the Discord here real quick. Any questions over here? I see Swamp Dog. I haven't seen you in a while, Swamp Dog. Swamp Dog wants to know, is it better than the leather one? Personally, I think it is better than the leather. It's a little thicker. If you need your goggles to be as close to your face as possible, you may not like this one. It's a little thicker. It doesn't come in different thicknesses. But personally, I think it's the best. Let's see here. My RapidFire won't turn off with the 01, so I can't change my goggles to record by the SD. That's a good question. So you may not know this. This little button on the bottom of your Fat Sharks right here turns the power to your module on and off. And those of you who already know about this are like, yeah, of course it does. But I can't tell you how many times somebody reaches out to me and is like, I think my Fat Shark module is broken. It won't turn on. Did I kill it? Oh, no. And I'm like, flip the switch on the bottom. They're like, what switch? I don't know what switch you're talking about. Look on the bottom. Calm down. Look on the bottom. It's on the bottom left side. Flip the switch. Oh, my God, that's the power switch. Yeah. But the problem is that if you have a RapidFire and you didn't do the mod and you don't have the HDOs, The HDOs don't need the mod. So if you've got like an HD3 or an HD2 and you're running RapidFire and you used the aux power cable that runs over to the head tracker bay, now this switch doesn't cut power anymore because it's getting power from the head tracker bay. So in the latest version of the RapidFire firmware, there is an option to turn it off in the menu. So that's one option. Just flash the latest firmware to your RapidFire, turn it off in the menu, and then you can access your DVR. Or do the inductor mod, short circuit or remove jumper, the L1 and the L10 inductor, and you'll be able to turn it off without, it'll run without the head tracker, without the auxiliary thing. Joel Allman, what's the #1 reason for vibrations on a quad? Motors. I couldn't resist. Well, vibrations on a quad. Tell me more, Joel. Tell me what you mean by that. What kind of vibrations are we asking about? What kind of vibrations are we asking about? Jose Verduzco. Thank you for $10, Jose. Do you have a video on the CLI commands and how to enter changes to the flight controller? Jose, I don't have a video specifically about that. I do show examples of how to do it. The general format. Where's my little flight controller here? Trying not to spill any drinks on myself in the meantime. Jose, the general format, when you're in the CLI, this is no good. You guys aren't going to be able to even see this. The general format is either set and a parameter equals value or get parameter. Okay? That's the general format. Now, if you want to know what the parameters are, you type dump. And dump shows you the entire configuration of the quadcopter. This is all of your configuration for the whole quadcopter. And you can see that there is all these different parameters. And in fact, this is the exact syntax that you would type if you were typing into the command line. So if you want an example of how to enter commands into the command line, just type dump, and here it is. You can type get and something after get, like get RSSI, and it'll show you all of the parameters that have the word RSSI in them. So if you kind of can't remember the name of a parameter, just type get and something you can remember, and it'll show it to you. A key thing that screws people up is you have to type this exactly as it appears. So this is RSSI underscore offset. So you would need to type set RSSI underscore offset equals whatever. If you typed RSSI space offset, it would be confusing. The other thing you can do is you can type help, and it shows a few other commands that are not, oops, sorry about that, a few other commands that are not the set and get. There are a few other things you can do other than set or get. So there's a little short primer. For $10, Jose, I figured I could do it for you. A little short primer there on the CLI. Angry Kiwi, thank you for $2. The TBS HVSE is jumping channels when moved around. Holy crap, are you for real? It's jumping channels when it moves around? That's a weird one, Angry Kiwi, because to make the Unify change channels, you have to push the button, but it's not, so maybe you got a broken button, but it's a specific button sequence. There's no way like just a broken button could randomly change channels. So I guess I would ask Angry Kiwi, how do you know it's changing channels? That's what I want to know. What is the symptom you're actually observing? Brap FPV Jones, thank you for $2. Vodka or tequila in the Arnold Palmer. How dare you? It's bourbon. Seriously though, bourbon and iced tea go real nice together, and lemonade, bourbon, lemon, like 2 parts sweet tea, 1 part lemonade, maybe 50-50, and then like 1 shot of bourbon. So good. Try it. You'll thank me. O problema é que o Joshua entende português. Não daria para esconder nada dele. I don't know what I just said, but I said it. Now, here's the question. Which part of Brazil do I sound like I might remotely be from? Okay. Yeah. Jacob Mikalzik, thank you for £2. Do you sometimes have a scrolling issue with RapidFire? Yeah, I do. Here's the thing about RapidFire, and none of this contradicts anything I just said. It's my favorite module. I think it's the best. But every so often, RapidFire decides that it doesn't like the camera that's in my quad. And 30 seconds into a flight, the screen goes, bleh. And I'm like, God damn you, RapidFire. So RapidFire has mode 1, which is the best, and mode 2, which is still pretty good, but not the best. And if you get a rolling screen in mode 1, you just switch to mode 2 and you cuss, and then you get on with your day. And it's still as good or better than anything else out there, in my humble opinion. But the problem is that it's so freaking unpredictable. So every time I get a new quad or a new camera, there's a chance that it'll just take a dump on me as I'm flying the first time. And then I'll cuss at it and I'll switch to mode 2. But it does happen. Let's see here. Glow Hunter, I didn't miss your super chat. I didn't get to it yet. Glow Hunter, thank you for $2. Best freestyle props, Hype Train Blaster Motors. That's a tough one, Glow Hunter, because what you want from a freestyle prop is different maybe than what other people want. The GemFan Hurricane 51466, I've heard a lot of people who are very, very happy with that as a freestyle prop. One of the things I want from a freestyle prop is durability. I need the ability to be able to get back up in the air and fly again. And I really need the ability to be able to kind of chunk them up just a little bit and not have just massive jello. There are some props that are excellent props, but the minute you nick them, you just get Jello-tastic City. I think the GemFan Hurricane, I like the 51499 on my 2407 motors, but it's maybe a little aggressive for some motors. And the 51466, if you haven't tried those, I would give them a try. I have to look back to see if anyone answered the questions about my Portuguese accent, my Brazilian accent. Atlanta, Brazil. Okay. And there's a $30, Brian, thank you, Brian Zugali, $30 donation, no question, just a big fan. Thank you, Brian, that's incredibly generous. Shane Beast, $5, thank you. What's a good bind and fly that's under 250 grams with battery and possibly a RunCam 5? Yoicks. Shane Beast, I don't know of a single bind and fly under 250 grams if you include the weight of a RunCam 5. Now, at this point, the chat may come up with something, but the thing is, for to carry a RunCam 5, you're going to want a 3-inch, and a 3-inch really has to squeak to get under 250 grams, period. Never mind to get under 250 grams, get under 200 grams or whatever it is that the RunCam 5 weighs. Everybody I know who is trying to get under 250 grams and wants high def is using like a Cadix Turtle or a RunCam Split or a Foxeer Mix, those combo, or a Cadix Tarsier. They're all using these combo cameras. There's just no way if any quad under 250 grams with a GoPro is not going to have the power to lift the GoPro. That's my opinion. Kosiba in the chat agrees with me. Best freestyle prop. Some people suggesting the Dal Cyclone 5046. That's an oldie but a goodie. It's a great prop, but I figure you've probably heard of that. The thing is, yeah, Mixer in the Discord says, I was really impressed by the Tarsier footage. Like, the Tarsier is bringing in some good footage. Is it as good as a GoPro? Well, I mean, a GoPro weighs 75, 90, whatever grams. So the thing that I find I miss when I go to anything but a GoPro is the configurability. Like, I really like the fact that with a GoPro, I can get this footage out of it that I can really do whatever I want to. The flat color profile is very, very versatile. When you get a camera like a Foxeer box, like a Caddx Tarsier or a Runcam 5, the picture it puts out, you may like it or you may not like it, but it's not as adjustable because it's a standard color profile. So you'll get something, but you may not get exactly what you want. Duck FPV asks, should I use M7 gimbals? Been using stock for years. I love the M9 and M7 gimbals on my FreeSky radios. These are the upgraded Hall effect gimbals. They're not quite as good as the full CNC ball bearing gimbals in the X10S, but if you have the standard gimbals in your QX7 or your X9D, the Hall effect gimbals, the X7 or the M9 gimbals, are well worth it. And they're only like $40 for a set, so very worth it. I think they're worth it not just because they feel better. I don't know about that, but they're worth it because they're way more durable. The Hall effect gimbals have no physical sort of slider potentiometer to wear out, so they last a lot longer. I actually saw today on somebody linked me to a YouTube video of somebody who put M9 gimbals inside his Jumper T16. So for those, before you ask, it wasn't a tutorial. It was just a photo of the fact that he did it. So for those of you who have been asking, could you put an M9 gimbal into a Jumper T16? Apparently the answer is it is possible. Is it easy? I don't know, but it is possible. Drunken Bullet 411, thank you for $2 Australian. Drunken Bullet asks, is there a micro FPV camera that is direct solder? The answer to that is yes, Drunken Bullet. Now let's find out if I can find it for you. It's a Foxeer camera. Is this it? Hang on. Yep, got it. And thank you. I'm going to plug Multi-Rotor Guide here, who just happened to be the first search result that came up. Drunken Bullet, the Foxeer Predator V4 comes in both a pad version and a plug version. You can direct solder to this camera. How do you like that? That's the first FPV camera that I know of that made this possible. So there you go, Drunken Bullet, $2. Mark Varian, thank you for $5 and says, you were spot on with your answer to my question last week about the same idea in Build Healthy, so he came back to give me $5. Guillermo wants to know if I can do a live show where I invite other reviewers that I like and chat about new stuff. Maybe, Guillermo. I mean, I could see it. I've had the idea that it might be fun to kind of do a round table. Like, you think about those sports shows on ESPN where 4 guys sit around and talk about the plays of the week. It may be, but at that point, I mean, are we just recreating the FPV show? You know, there's other guys out there doing that podcast style show. It's a very different format than this. The great thing about the Q&A is all I have to do is show up. I show up, you guys ask me questions, I talk for 2 hours, and job well done. As soon as we go into a different format, now now it's work. I don't know if you guys know this. Pardon me. Pardon me. Yikes. I don't know if you guys know this. I remember I didn't used to do a lot of live streams, and then at some point I started doing more live streams twice a week now. And the reason I did that is actually this saves me work, because on the days I do a live stream, it takes me 2 hours to do the live stream and that's it. But on every other day of the week, I spend way more than 2 hours making a video, and I make almost 1 video a day. So the reason I'm doing 2 live streams a week is so I can have 2 days a week where I'm just doing anything else for the rest of the day. No. So doing a show like you're suggesting, that would be work. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. The camera's still on screen. You couldn't see my emoting. Sorry, guys. Neesmore 2 says the Skyzone Skyo 2 thing is live. Neesmore 2, what do you think I'm talking about? I'm not going to tell you if you're right or wrong, but what do you think I'm talking about? I mean, if you're right, then it's public and I'll tell you. Shit. Now you're on to me. I'm not telling you anything. Let's see here. That's Alex. That's right. It's Alex. Damn it, Alex. Long ad for Foxier. Yeah, Walrus King says he was going to get the Hall effect on the QX7, but now he's just going to get the jumper T16 and the full Crossfire module. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get the Crossfire module, don't get the QX7. Get the jumper T16. That's nice. I hope that they're going to release a jumper T16 with upgraded gimbals and soon. That would be nice. Josh DeBlocker, thank you for $2. What happened to the goggle I painted? It didn't work out well. I'm going to try and do a much better job next time. I am going to paint the goggles. Somebody told me about a thing called adhesion promoter. Adhesion promoter is a chemical you spray on the plastic. A lot of times spray paint doesn't stick well to plastic, even if you prime it. So adhesion promoter is the pro's secret to getting spray paint to stick really well to plastic. So I am going to give it another try. And I'm also going to use purple, not pink. A purple or a purple. There you go. Ignacio Paz, thank you for $1. Kosiba wants to know in the Discord, did I ever hear about the Australian cherry craft frames? Are they a thing in the U.S.? I don't know if I've heard about those, but let's search for Australian cherry craft frames. What is cherry craft? Vertical arm frame. Interesting. This is one of these new crop of... Can I not get a big picture? Just give me the full picture, you... Thank you. So this is a new crop of vertical arm frames. Now this one's interesting because I like the way this arm is curved. I don't know if I just like the way it looks. It feels like it's going to give a little bit more stiffness in the vertical direction. The problem with vertical arm frames is this. It's very difficult to design them so that they don't make a lot of trouble on the yaw axis. The problem is that even though you have a triangle here, it's really easy to get some twisting moment around the chassis. So they oftentimes are tricky to tune. This is, I got to tell you, just at first glance, I'm not so sure about, I'm not so sure about the way it joins to the body, too. I'm a little skeptical of that. Like, there's just this one little tab here that joins in, and then it's compressed on by the standoff and the screw, but it's just this one little tab. But then again, the triangular construction is making it stronger. That's a tough one. This is a very interesting frame. Very interesting. Yeah. I'd like to know how it crashes. And I'd like to know if it has any weird tuning issues. That's, I guess, what I would say about that. Vertical arm screw with the yaw. Yeah. Ryan Lademan, who is the guy I interviewed, he's one of these guys who does top speed runs. In fact, he is involved in contention for the current record at like 198 miles an hour. He tried to sell one of his race frames and ran into a real problem where the default PIDs just didn't work on the yaw axis, and it was just impossible to tune. So, yeah. Rain Wathushkins asks, my VTX seems to be fine and lighting up as normal, but all the channels are black when I check with my goggles. Anyway, I can test what's wrong. Here's the thing, Rain. If all the channels are black, it means that your module is not working. What you should see is static when the VTX is off, and when the VTX is on, you should see black or picture on one channel and nothing on the other, static on the others. So if you have static on all your channels, it means that your module isn't working. One possible cause for, I mean, just look at the module and see if it's turned on, right? But it's also possible that you've got your goggles on the HDMI input by clicking this left-hand button on I'm assuming you have Fat Sharks. By clicking this left-hand button on the Fat Sharks, you switch between AV and HDMI input, and that's a common thing that people sometimes they're like, oh, it's broken, but they're just on the HDMI input. There's nothing plugged in. MM75 suggests you've got the lens cap on the camera, but no, because if there was a lens cap on the camera, you would have blackness on one channel and static on all the others. He said he had blackness on all the channels. Be free FPV. Best FPV goggles for the price today. I'm not answering that question because I'm not saying anything more about what FPV goggles you should get until after the thing that I told you to wait for in the middle of this week. And I can't tell you any more about it because that'll kind of give away what the thing might be, and then I'll have violated an NDA and people will be mad at me. Hello, Chris Quad. I've been in Bali. Well, good for you. Stan Roland wants to know, how do you figure out actual motor RPM with props on? The props, I got some props rated for 20,000 RPM. Stan, if your ESC has BLHeli telemetry, then it can report RPM, and you can actually get that. Hang on, you can actually get that right here. Ooh, I just heard a big thunder crack. If the live stream stops abruptly, it means my power went out. Fair warning. Come on. Connect. You. What are you doing? Connect. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Flight controller doesn't want to connect. Who makes this stupid flight controller anyway? There we go. So you can go to the OSD tab, and there's an item in the OSD tab, which is ESC RPM. When you turn on ESC RPM, you get 4 numbers here, and that is the RPM of each of the 4 motors. So that is the easiest way to get RPM. Now, if you don't have ESCs that support telemetry, that's tougher. Yeah, that's a lot tougher. By the way, Stan Roland, if you are set up to get ESC RPM, I'm 99% sure it'll show up in the black box logs too. Now, it doesn't update as fast as you might want to if you're doing like PID tuning, but if all you want to do is go full throttle and see if you're under 20,000, this is how I would do it. Chamer in the Discord points out that if you type status with the motor running, it will show you the RPM. I don't see that here, but I don't have any. This is just a loose flight controller. It doesn't have any ESCs. If you want to strap down your quad and spin an 8-inch prop at full throttle on the bench, then yeah, that could do it. I mean, I don't know if that's a good idea, but yeah. Walrus King wants to know, in the Discord, you talked the other day about how there's not much need for soft mounting motors anymore, but you did say that there were some cases where it might still be relevant. Well, the thing is, Walrus King, if I had a vibration-related problem that I could not solve any other way, I might try soft mounting the motors. Now you ask, well, why is it your last resort? As soon as you soft mount the motors, you got to Loctite all those screws, because if you tighten them down so tight that they don't loosen up, then you're not getting the benefit of the soft mounting. And the real way to do soft mounting is actually to like double soft mount so the screw head isn't transmitting vibration. So soft mounting is such a pain in the ass. Soft mounting motors is such a pain in the ass that it's like my last resort. But anytime I had a vibration issue that I couldn't solve another way, I would consider soft mounting. Bert Harrell wants to know, got a new Micro Eagle. The lens is not parallel to the sensor. Half the picture is always out of focus. Any advice? Bert, there's 2 chances here, Bert. One is that your sensor is out of alignment. One is that your lens is out of alignment. A new lens for the Eagle costs $6 or $7. If you contact RunCam or you contact the vendor who you sent it to you, you might be able to convince them to send you one for free. And you swap the lens, and if that fixes it, then good. And if it doesn't fix it, it's your sensor. And then you got to be just begging Runcam to send you a replacement. But try blowing up. Contact Runcam. Here's what I would do. First, contact the vendor you bought it from. Second, contact Runcam privately, like via their, like message their Facebook page. Don't blow up their Facebook page publicly. Give them a chance to do. And then if that doesn't work, politely post on their public Facebook page and see if they'll help you out. That's what I would say. Let's see here. Granted FPV wants to know what mic I use. This is the Rode NT USB. That's the mic I'm using. Twisted FPV, thanks for $2 for rain. Okay. J Sunshine 29, thanks for $5. No question. Thank you. Matt Bowers, $2. What's my thoughts on the new 1.6 watt TBS Unify? Yeah, TBS has a new Unify that they list as 1+ watts. It's the Unify 32, I think. Unify Pro 32. What's up? No, that's the Nano. Where's the Pro 32? That's this one. $50. Yeah, 1,000 milliwatts or more. So first of all, kudos to TBS for finding a way to circumvent all the jerks like me who have an immersion RC power meter and are going, you're not making 800 watts. You're only making 647 watts. Kudos to TBS for figuring out how to beat us at our own game. Instead of saying 800 milliwatts, they just say 1,000 watts or more. Good for you. That's like, hey, as long as you get more than a watt, everybody's happy. But here's the thing. I think that if you're over a watt, you can't be imported into the U.S. That's we talked about this in one of my previous live streams. When the FCC fined GetFPV for, I think it was $180,000. It was a lot of money. In the filing, the FCC indicated that they consider FPV video to count as telecommand, and there's a 1 watt limitation for telecommand under U.S. law. And people have said, well, that's not true. But the FCC thinks it's true, and they're going to fine you if you break it. And as a result, all the vendors I know of just stopped importing any VTX over a watt. So I'm curious if we're going to find anybody. Like, let's look at GetFPV's site. I'm curious if we're going to find anybody importing this to the U.S. Well, there you go. I got to look into this. I got to dig into this. The one who was the strictest was Ready-Made RC. Do they carry Race 2? Nope. There it is. Holy crap. All right, I got to dig into this. This is weird. See, now they say 1,000 milliwatts, but TBS says 1,000 milliwatts plus. Yeah, I got to dig into this because this is really interesting. There you go. Matt Bowers says it comes locked is why. I don't know about that, Matt. That's always been questionable to me. But I guess what I would say is that companies like GetFPV, who has already gotten fined, and one of the other companies that I know who was just absolutely the strictest about this was Ready-Made RC. If they're importing it, then they probably put some thought into why it's legal. I'm surprised, but I'll have to do a little research. Dustin Melancon says, it says it requires an amateur radio license to operate. Here's the thing, Dustin. Here's the dirty little secret that nobody thinks about except me and everybody else who's a ham. All 5 gigahertz analog VTXs require an amateur license to operate in the U.S. Didn't know that. A lot of you didn't know that. Some people are like, no, if it's under 25 milliwatts, it's fine. Nope. That is not correct. That's just the bottom line. All of them actually, because here's the thing. None of them are Part 15 certified. None of them could possibly be Part 15 certified. But even if they could be, they aren't. And since they're not Part 15 certified, you can't be operating them under Part 15, in other words, without a license. So how are you operating them? The only other section of U.S. law under which you could be operating them is Part 97, which is the ham radio. And in order to do that, you have to have an amateur license. So if you're out there and you've got your 107 and you think you're complying with the law because your VTX is under 25 milliwatts, you should have an amateur license technically. So does it help? No. OMFPV, even if you have a ham license, you still are not allowed to go over 1 watt, according to the FCC. Ham license lets you operate at all, and the limitation is 1 watt, period. Tom Jenkinson wants to know, how do I tune my quad to respond slower to my stick input so my change in a direction isn't so abrupt? Tom, here's what I would suggest. First, I got to plug in my freaking flight controller. Where'd it go? There it is. Any minute now, we'll get COM3. There we go. So, Tom, what we need to do is go to the PID tuning tab. And then the first thing I would suggest you do is take your RC rate down. That will reduce the rates and make the quad just move slower overall. So just drop your RC rate from whatever it is. Mine's 1.0. Just drop that down. What I want you to do, Tom, is I want you to look over here on the right. And you'll see a certain number of degrees per second. Right here, this is it, 667 degrees per second. So right now, when I go to full stick deflection, my quad will spin 667 degrees per second. What I want you to do is just knock like 200 degrees per second off of whatever it is. So I'm at 667. I'm just going to go to RC rate, and I'm going to go down until I get to like 400. Maybe 450, I don't know. But just knock that down by 150 or 200 degrees per second, and it'll slow the quad down. I'm going to need to do RC rate on pitch, roll, and yaw, and that'll help slow down the rates. Where's this shirt from? You guys like my shirt? If you thought this was a Race Day Quad shirt, you're almost right. I got it off the internet. It's not made anymore as far as I know. It's a one of a kind. License to Drive wants to know about RC rate versus super rate. What's the difference? I only just adjust super rate. Well, the great thing is no. Don't Skype call me. What? Where is Skype? Go away, Skype. Don't. Oh my God. Go away, Skype. Wow. Don't. How do I quit Skype, like, for real? No, that's just close window. Quit Skype. No. I don't want to open Skype. I want to quit Skype. Oh my God. For real? Oh my God. No, I just rejected your call. I just rejected your call. Don't call me back. Oh, he's going to call me again. Okay, goodbye, Skype. Wow. Okay. I just rejected your call. Also, don't call me. Don't call me. You can message me. You can email me. I don't mind. I legit don't mind. Email me. Message me on Facebook. Chat me on Skype. But don't call me. That's the line. Because if you chat me and I'm busy, I just will ignore you. And I'll get to you. And it'll all be good. When you call me, I have to take out my phone. And then I have to... No, I'm not talking to you. I'm in a live stream. That's the line. Okay. What was I don't know what I was saying. George Hall, thank you for $2. RapidFire drops the top antenna randomly. Reboot to fix. The problem is, George, that you're going to low power mode. Whenever RapidFire goes to one antenna, you're dropping to low power mode. You need to use the auxiliary power cable over to the head tracker bay, or you need to do both the L1 and the L10 mod on the goggles. That's the answer, George. Daryl Cyrul, thank you for $5 Canadian. Canadian dollars. Hey, JB, having issues with Betaflight 403. Keep getting retry errors when changing VTX settings with smart audio. Well, your smart audio isn't working. I mean, check the wire, I guess. You know, like it's not reliably talking to the VTX. So replace the wire, check the solder joints, and if that doesn't fix it, try a different UART. George Hall, you did the L1 mod. I'm sorry to say, when I went to China in January of this year, Tony Cake said, "You're never going to believe this. We've figured out why fat sharks are so inefficient in dropping voltage, and you need to do the L1 mod." And I made a video. I rushed to make a video about the L1 mod. And then a few months later, after RapidFire came out, we discovered that the L1 mod alone by itself was not sufficient. And so the L10 inductor, George, is on top of the DVR board. If you look right here, you open up the goggles. It's right here on the left top side of the DVR board. So you crack the goggles open. You need to drop the DVR board out of the top of the goggles. And on the top left side, there's a great big honking inductor. It's labeled L10. Don't try to remove it unless you have a hot air station. You'll probably damage something. But it's so freaking big, just get a little half-inch length of wire and solder it to jumper across it, and that will fix your problem. Super rates. That's right. Super rates versus RC rates. So here's the deal. The great thing is that we've got this diagram here that shows us the effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set RC rate to 1. And I'm going to raise super rates. And I want you to watch what happens as I raise super rates. And the great thing is that we can compare this one to these others and see the difference that adding super rate has done. And basically, what adding super rate does is it makes the quad move much faster past about 50%, 60% stick throw. But it doesn't change the curve very much at all below about 50% stick throw. So basically, adding super rate increases the full stick speed, but leaves the mid stick approximately alone. The RC rate increases the entire curve sort of linearly. So RC rate leaves the shape of the curve alone, but just makes it faster uniformly across its whole self. So what I like to say is, if you want the stick to be faster everywhere, add RC rate. If you want to make full stick deflection faster while leaving mid stick alone, increase super rate. And if you want to soften the middle while leaving the ends alone, add expo. Watch what happens when I add expo. Can you see that as I add expo, the full stick deflection stays the same at 667 degrees, but the middle gets a lot softer, and there gets to be this sharp knee here as we get past about 50, 60% deflection. So expo softens out the center, S rate makes the end faster or slower, and RC rate makes the whole thing faster or slower. Okay. Thank you, George Hall. You're the man. Quadcopter says, VTX gets interference when turning on TX. Any ideas? The number one thing that I think causes that is the telemetry from the receiver. What you can try to do if it's FreeSky is bind, but bind with telemetry off. When you go to bind, it says telemetry on or off. Try binding telemetry off, and that may fix it. You may also just need to move the VTX away from your receiver. Blob87 in the Discord wants to know what's a good IR value for a LiPo to be at. Blob87, I think a good IR value is If it's below 10, for a typical 1300, 1500 milliamp hour pack, if it's below 10 milliohms, that's exceptional. That's excellent. If it's below about 15, that's pretty good still. Between about 15 and 20 is middling. And above about 20 is not that great. Above about 30 is awful. That's what I would say. Rick says, my AKK VTX Smart Audio works fine except in pit mode. Is this known? Rick, Smart Audio VTXs, in my experience, do not go back into pit mode. They will power up in pit mode, and they will come out of pit mode, but then they won't go back in. I'm not sure why they do that. It seems kind of dumb to me. Also, going back to IR, internal resistance, make sure you test internal resistance at full charge and consistent temperature. Temperature significantly affects IR, and state of charge also significantly affects IR. Jean-Pierre asks, I got an X-Lite Pro for my micros. Now hearing there's some potential snafu with the new access system. Will it bind to my Sailfly? I know that the X-Lite Pro is supposed to bind to both access and D16. Am I wrong about that, by the way? That's what I thought. But when I looked it up, I wasn't sure I could verify that. So, like, if we go FreeSky X-Lite Pro, let's look. Taranis X-Lite Pro. Does it also support D16? Features. So it doesn't reference ACCST at all. Now I know that the compatibility, yeah, here we go. Compatibility, ACCST, D16, and access receivers. So the X-Lite Pro definitely is supposed to support the older D16 receivers. However, I recorded my review of these radios today, and when I went into the internal module and tried to change it to D16, it didn't have the option. So I don't know if that's my user error or what, but it is supposed to support it. Jean-Pierre, what is the snafu you're talking about? But not D8. That's right, Cotis. None of the new FreeSky Access radios have been announced to support D8. And by the way, I should add the X9 Lite, which you can actually see back right there on the desk behind me. The X9 Lite at launch did not support D16, but FreeSky made the decision to release a firmware that enabled D16. So both the X-Lite Pro and the X9 Lite, in other words, all the Access radios as of today, will support both Access and D16. You'll just need to update the firmware on the X9 Lite. None of them, however, have announced support for D8. If you have a lot of D8 models, you probably are going to want to stay away from these radios, because it's not even like you can buy an old XJT module or something and an external module to support the D8 protocol. As far as I know, they don't make a D8 module in this little new form factor. What's the board on the Sailfly? Like, what receiver mode? What receiver mode is it? Let's look. Blah, blah, blah. Crazy BF4. So if it's got the Crazy BF4, then it should have built-in FreeSky receiver that does D16 mode. So you should be good. You should be good. Archmage AU says D8 can be done by an external multi-protocol module, but I don't think, Archmage, that... Remember, these radios don't have a JR bay. They have the new FreeSky module bay. Yeah, Sailfly can do both D8 or D16, so you're good to go there. D16 will be fine. Kebab did a video on that transmitter. Really easy to mod all modules. Let's see what Kebab's been up to. Kebab FPV. We can mod. Can we mod? X9 Lite comparison with others. He does put a lot into his videos. I'm not sure I'm going to go through 20 minutes here. Oh, yeah, here we go. Where's the back of the radio? Oh, he's got Crossfire. Oh, my God. Somewhere Free Sky's dying inside. If that's a Free Sky radio, they're dying inside. Crossfire on the back of the radio. Where is the... Oh, here we go. Can we... Okay, so yeah, so he's showing how you can solder to the board to get an external module. That's doable, but I know it's possible, but I don't love it. Anyway, if you have a bunch of D8 receivers, that wouldn't be my first choice. That's all I'm saying. Rain Watushkin says, I had this problem earlier, so I bought a new VTX, but the channels are all static. I don't know what channel you're talking about. I don't know what problem you're talking about, but if all your channels are static, that means the VTX is not transmitting on any of those channels. When the VTX is transmitting, you'll see black screen in the goggles when you're on the same channel. So it's not the camera. Dave Lockwood says, Kebab has been posting like crazy. You be quiet, Dave. I've very few things that I will take you to task for, but I post almost every day. So if anybody's posting like crazy, it should be me. No, he has been busy. Look, a 3-day gap between videos. Amateur hour. Cotis says, wow, that was basically the whole gist of the video in 10 seconds. What's the reason for not having a charge port on my QX7? Asks Clancy Agan. Clancy, the charge port, the earliest QX7s didn't have an external charging port. John Coop says, Bardwell, I put 12 volts onto a VTX 5-volt output by mistake. Now it won't power up. Any ideas? John, I think you fried it, man. It's dosed, dude. Get a new one. Sorry. So I'm sorry for the bad news. Let's get some super chats. I'm not paying attention to them. Marley Lepo, thank you for 20 Norwegian kroner. License to drive, thanks for £2. No question. Jean-Pierre Batinik, thanks for $2. Thank you. Mikhail Moloskov, thank you for 17 DKK. I think those are Dutch kroners or Danish kroners. That's it, Danish kroners. Thank you. And I'm caught up. Tumbleweed30 says, what I want to know is when the X9D is updated to Access, will it kill D8 mode? Tumbleweed30, I wouldn't assume that the radios can be updated to Access protocol. Does anybody know an example of FreeSky releasing firmware that will update a radio to Access protocol? I think they're going to try to make you buy... And here's the thing. I'm not saying it can't be done. But I think FreeSky wants to motivate you to get rid of your old radios so that you move to new radios with no JR base, so you can't put Crossfire in the radios. That's the gist of it. So I think that even if FreeSky could release Access firmware for the old radios, maybe they wouldn't. On the other hand, they want you to move to Access protocol. MC's Creation says Access uses the same module, just different firmware. Does that mean they're gonna? Does anybody know? Have they said they would upgrade the X9D? Is that right? I don't know the answer to that. I could just ask FreeSky, but I haven't. So here we are. Short Circuit says there's a nightly version of OpenTX that Kebab has on the X9 Lite that has all the normal protocols. Yeah, but if the module won't do it, it doesn't matter what OpenTX has. Glenn Corky says, yes. Yes, they have announced that. Okay, I'm out of touch then. So I would assume... So then the question is, why are they not doing D8? Like when they released the firmware to let the Access radios be backwards compatible with D16, why didn't they also release it for D8? And I don't know the answer to that, but if they are going to let you upgrade the X9D to D6 to access, then I would assume you would lose D8. Here's a video from Albert Kim showing X9 Lite ACCST D16. Oh no, but this is different. No, this is different. Hang on, be careful. This is an access radio being backwards compatible with D16. Yes, I know that. But has anybody shown that they will let you upgrade like an X9D to access? That's what I haven't heard, that it would be possible. Mino FPV says, for long range, do you recommend changing failsafe settings? Mino FPV, if you're serious about long range, you need to have a GPS on the quad, and return to home or GPS rescue needs to be your failsafe. That is the only responsible way to do long range. If you're flying long range and you don't have GPS failsafe set up, then as soon as you lose link, it's going to drop on somebody's head. Now, if you're doing long range over the desert or long range over the mountains where there's just nobody around, that's different. Then you lose your quad, which still sucks. So get GPS. It's like $8 to put GPS on your quad. Why wouldn't you do it? Do it. But some people do long range over populated areas. I'm not going to weigh in on whether that's a good or a bad idea. If you're doing that, though, you definitely need to, at least, you've got to have GPS on it. Rain just bought the VTX a couple days ago. It lights up like the manual says. Rain, what I would say is check what channel the VTX thinks it's on. Okay? And it may have LEDs. It may have a little blinky lights or whatever. What channel does the VTX think it's on? And then in your goggles, make sure they're on the same channel. Sorry for bumping the mic, guys. Because like you're in the wrong band or something. If the VTX is on race 1 and you're on Fat Shark band, you may just not see anything at all. But what you got to do is you got to get on the same channel as the VTX, and you should see black screen. Archmage AU points out that FreeSky has announced that access will be applied to both 900 megahertz and 2.4 gigahertz. That's fine. And then they say this will work cohesively with new dual frequency products like transmitters, TX modules, and receivers being released this year. That's still not an indicator that FreeSky plans to release access firmware for older modules. I still haven't seen any indication of that. Rain, what goggles do you have? What goggles do you have? What module is in your goggles, Rain? Tom Jenkinson says, after a light crash, my range is bad on my R9 quad. I switched antenna, receiver, resoldered the connector, and I get low RSSI at about quarter mile. I've flown much further before. Well, Tom, the good news is that we can be reasonably sure that crashing your quad did not damage your transmitter. So your transmitter's probably fine. But you switched antenna, receiver, and resoldered the connector, and you're getting low RSSI. Now, here's the thing we do know. The wiring and the plug to the connection to the flight controller can't be giving you low RSSI, can it? It has to be the antenna. Something about the antenna is bad. Now, but you switched antenna and receiver. None of it makes sense, does it, Tom? Here's what we know, though. If you have low RSSI, it's not the flight controller. Flight controller cannot make you have low RSSI. So don't waste time worrying about configuration. Make sure that your RSSI readout is accurate. Like, are you getting RSSI directly from the telemetry screen? Or are you looking in the OSD? Maybe the RSSI is set up wrong, but you're comparing it to how it was before. So presumably it worked before. It's got to be something to do with the antenna or something to do with the receiver. I agree that it shouldn't be because you replaced them, but that's what it's got to be. There you go. Because the alternative is, Tom, that it's your transmitter, but it shouldn't be your transmitter unless just randomly you broke your transmitter. I got a couple super chats here. Stabby FPV, thank you for $1. Stabby FPV, y'all. Get ready for the bump, Stabby. Y'all got to go check out Stabby FPV. Stabby FPV is after my own heart. Here's what I love about her. I love that she makes content that feels like it's content that she really wants to make. Now that may sound dumb and obvious, but so many people on YouTube feel like they're making content because they think it's content that you want to watch. They're trying to impress you. They're trying to grab your attention. And there's nerds like me who just go, I'm going to do a trick tutorial. And it feels like that's the kind of content she's making. It's really fun content. Where's your trick tutorial, Stabby? There's Stabby Flip. She did a trick tutorial, and I was like, you know what? Who else out there is making trick tutorials? Okay, Willie is. They're out there, but she's got 248 subs, right? And it does my heart good to see somebody with 248 subs. See, here's what usually happens. Person with 248 subs makes a freestyle video, posts it, gets no views, and then whines on Facebook about why no one watches their content. And I just roll my eyes and go, forget it. But Stabby's out there, and yes, she's doing freestyle videos, don't get me wrong. But she's doing trick tutorials and other kind of educational stuff. She's saying, what can I do that will help other people? Instead of, what can I do that makes me look awesome? Not that she doesn't look awesome, she does. And I dig that. That's very much the kind of content I also prefer to make. So, Stabby FPV, thank you for $1 in the super chat. I think she's going places. She's not there yet. She's going somewhere, though. She's going to be good. You're going to see more of her. Wes Willoughby, thanks for $2. No question. Mr. L. Davids, thanks for $10. Thank you so much. That's very generous. Enrique Moraes. Wait. It's not French. Enrique would be French. How do you say Enrique in Portuguese? That's a tough one. Enrique Moraes, thank you for 10 reais. My quad is a chameleon with a GoPro and a battery. It costs, it weighs 865 grams. Yikes, that's heavy, my friend. Unless it's like a 7-inch, that's pretty heavy. That's heavy for a 5-inch. I hope it's a 7-inch. When I release the throttle, I feel it rolling hard. What could you suggest to make it more momentum and be more soft? Unfortunately, Enrique, we are missing a verb here, my friend. When I release the throttle, I feel it foaling hard, is what you actually typed. And that verb is key. You got to tell me, Enrique, what is it doing? What is it rolling hard, foaling hard? I'm afraid we may have a language barrier here. Stabby, people are out there and they're subbing to you right now. So you got the next video you post had better be like, bring your A game, okay? Because they're gonna sub, and then they're gonna be like, okay, whatever. But A game. Here's the number one thing, Enrique. 865 grams is freaking heavy. Any quad that weighs that much is going to have handling issues. It's not going to be nimble. So the number one thing I would try to do is get the weight down. Unless, see, I said, oh, that's heavy unless it's like a 7-inch or an 8-inch. But if it's a 7 or 8-inch quad weighing 865 grams, it's like a long-range cruiser. A quad that weighs that much is not a nimble acro quad. You got to get it down under 700 grams if you want any kind of good handling. And then the next question would be, like, what motors and props have you got? That's going to make a big difference in the handling. Falling says, I feel it falling hard. Well, that's what I thought, but make more momentum. Yeah. So my best guess is the issue is that you punch the throttle, but when you chop the throttle, it just goes, bleh, right? It doesn't go wee like Mr. Steel. And the problem is it's too heavy. You got to get the weight down. Get it under 700 grams is what I would say. Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer is what I'm drinking. Keep up. Mixer says, why does my RSSI, by the way, Mixer's in the Discord. Thank you, patrons, for all you do. Mixer in the Discord says, why does my RSSI, when using it from a channel in the RX tab, show 20 RSSI, but my Tyrannus has already said RX lost? The answer is this, Mixer. If you do RSSI, pardon me, if you do RSSI channel, in other words, in the receiver tab, your RSSI, you have an RSSI channel here. Then when you lose signal and go to failsafe, oh, flip. This, hold on. This freaking flight controller needs an update. Hold on. Can we? Ugh, it's in freaking joystick mode. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Hang on. Hold on, guys. I need to get one of my actual quads so I can show you my actual failsafe settings. That was just a flight controller I had plugged in on the desktop. You can tell how big of a big shot you are by how many COM ports you've got. I'm up to 22, 25 COM ports. That's how many flight controllers I plug in. That's how you know I'm a big shot. Go to the failsafe tab, and the thing is, that RSSI channel, when you failsafe, what's it going to do? Well, what you want it to do is go to 0 RSSI. So if you're using an RSSI channel, go to your failsafe tab and choose to set the channel to 1000 when you failsafe. And that will make your RSSI go to 0. See? Everybody overlooks that. Okay. Everyone talking about subbing to Stabby FPV is getting their message flagged by the auto moderator because it contains the word stab. Cotis, I have no idea why your RSSI says 0 when it's actually at 100% and then goes to 99. I have no ideas about that, but I would look at the receiver tab. Like, what is the channel actually doing? You're up to 300, Stabby. I was touched. I guess touched is a good word for it. Like, the rest of our videos are pretty good. Let's pick one. Let's pick a video. No filter. Like, that's a good thumbnail. Does that thumbnail not strike you? It's a good thumbnail. Let's see what she's got.
Is a video to get me back into getting videos done. I have some footage that I want to edit, but it's just been something I've been putting off. And so this is a short thing to do an intro, maybe an outro, who knows.
Okay.
And then just get a video done, just to get a video done and then not feel...
Okay, so YouTuber tip number 1. This is a tough one, but my personal opinion is so many YouTubers, they feel bad because they didn't post or whatever. Their last video was crap. You start your next video and you start apologizing for whatever you didn't do. To me, this is gonna sound like I'm picking on her. I'm not. I'm just musing about YouTubing. Never start a video and apologize. Never apologize. Like, if you are PewDiePie and you just said the N-word on your live stream, then apologize. But, like, every video is a fresh new canvas to win people over. And 6 months or a year from now, when somebody comes across the video and you start by saying, hey, guys, sorry I didn't post yesterday because I was a little bit sick, they don't know. 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you got to hook them. You got to hook them. Okay, let's see. I want to see flying, though. I want to see flying. Here we go.
Like... editing a video
Let's
is this big scary thing because it's not.
All right.
Something in the sun.
Nope, no music. I don't want to get copyright struck. I'm totally putting you on the spot here. I'm sorry, Stabby. You posted it to YouTube though. It's fair game. You got some nice slow flow. You got a couple tricks here under the trees that I thought were okay. Not the worst. Not the worst ever. No. Oh, see, I like that move. I want to filk that. I see where you're going. Like look straight up and then 180 and come out backwards. I've literally never seen someone do that before. I'm not joking. Look straight up 180 and come out backwards. I've seen a lot of moves that people do where they will transition from front to back. Especially guys like Alex Vanover love to fly backwards. But I'm not kidding you. I've literally never seen somebody just look straight up 180 and come out backwards. Okay. All right. Up and coming YouTubers. Chris Quad wants to know, have you ever had any experience getting your motors jammed up with iron filings? Yep. Don't land in volcanic sand. I was in LA or some suburb of LA. LA is massive. And we were at a construction site and there was a bunch of rusty dirt from metal, I guess. And your motor is, forget about it. You're done. You will never clean it out. You will never clean it out. Just give up. Just give up. Is UAV Futures here? Is Stu here? Somebody said, hey, Stu. Stu's here! Yeah, put your best footage first. In my opinion, so let's talk YouTube here for a minute. In my opinion, like the attention span of people is so freaking short today. Watch videos on YouTube and ask yourself, when is the first time you feel bored? And it's like 10, 15 seconds into the video. So you gotta hook somebody. It doesn't mean that you have to plow into the content, but you gotta hook them. They have to know why they're there and what you're going to give them. And you do have to get into the content pretty quick. And so many people waste, like the first 10 seconds of your video are the absolute most valuable because every single person who clicks your thumbnail is going to watch 10 seconds of your video. But no more than that. Some of them will watch more than that. And if you start the video with, hey everybody, how you doing? Been a couple of weeks since I posted. Been really busy with my family. My kid was sick. You lost him. Some people will stick around for that. Don't get me wrong. Some people just love your face, and they will just listen to whatever you have to say. Those people, you know. But if you want to hook people, if you want to grow your channel, you gotta make the absolute most of that very first 10 seconds. So if you watch, I mean, I'm not perfect at this, but if you watch my videos, I will try to let you know what you're gonna get and why you're here, and that you should stay in like the first 10 or 15 seconds. You got to start strong. Yeah, License to Drive, you like there are exceptions, like a Joe Rogan podcast that goes on for 2 hours. The thing is, how do you find Joe Rogan? You see a clip of his interview and you go, "Oh, I want more of that." So by the time you get to a Joe Rogan podcast, you're there for the long haul. And by the time, like if you're one of my subs who watches all of my videos, by the time you click, you're just there. I could chat, I could wind on for 45 seconds and you'd still watch it. But if you want to grow your channel, you got to get the people who aren't already there for the long haul. You got to find a way to hook them. And in general, that first 10 seconds is key. You got to get something in that first 10 or 15 seconds. You don't waste it on musing. Well, anyway. Don't have a stupid long intro. Yeah. So if your buddy made you I hate it. When I click on a video and there's like a 20-second long intro, bullshit FPV, and then we get the sponsor logo, T-Motor, and then 35 seconds into the video, I actually hear you making content. No. Yeah. When you need a tagline like "G'day." Stu, what time is it there, dude? It's got to be like 9 in the morning, right? Yeah. Anyway. Ralph asks in the Discord, I bought the full-size Crossfire for my QX7. Do I still need to mod my QX7? Ralph, the basic answer is yes, but maybe no. So here's the deal. If you don't mod your QX7 and you're doing Crossfire, you will get telemetry lost warnings. You'll get signal lost or sorry, sensor lost warnings, and the Lua script will run slow as crap and timeout. Now, since you have the big Crossfire module, you do not need the Lua script. Okay, that's one. But you're still going to get telemetry loss, sensor lost warnings. Now, maybe you don't care about telemetry, at which point you do not need to do the mod. But your radio is still going to be screaming at you, telemetry lost, sensor lost all the time. Personally, I would still want to do the mod. Personally, I would not want to use a QX7 if I was using Crossfire. But if you already own a QX7 and you bought Crossfire, do the mod. Or find somebody else to do the mod. But I would do the mod. I like telemetry. Daniel Grafton says, my capacitor negative terminal separated from the XT60 during flight. Battery voltage dropped. This was a brand new battery. Can this damage my battery? Daniel, the question is, like, what happened? I think you short-circuited the battery, Daniel. That's the thing. I think you short-circuited the battery and it tanked the voltage. The question is, did the voltage from the battery actually go to 9 volts? If it did, you probably damaged the battery. What's the battery voltage now at the end of the flight? Was it at 9 volts and it stayed there, or did it kind of sag to 9 volts but then jump back up? If it actually went like down to 9 volts, it's dead. Don't just throw it out. Somebody said in the chat, I always liked the old flight test intros. I did too. Let's take a little trip down memory lane here. I always stay so focused. I seldom, waste time on a live stream. But hey, it's a live stream. Do this. Let's do this. Here's what I like to do sometimes. Go to a channel you like, click on videos, and then do sort by date added oldest. And go look at the very first videos these guys uploaded. Wow. Like on their 5th video, they got a Hobby King sponsorship. Wow. Now, I don't like their very first video. I don't think they had. Did they have an intro? It's a little too long. This was so good. I mean, say what you will about Chad. There he is. Say what you will about Chad Capper. That man can make a freaking intro. And here's the thing. This is a long intro. We're 27 seconds in. This is a 30-second intro. In television, that's nothing. But on YouTube, granted, this was 8 years ago. This was 2010. But I never felt bored during their intro. I always enjoyed their intro, and I don't know why. It was such a good intro. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, you can change the baud rate on a QX7. If you change the baud rate, you go long press the menu button and then go to page to the hardware screen. You can lower the baud rate from 400 kilobaud down to, I think it's 250 kilobaud, and that will fix the issue, but it will also increase the latency. Now, some people doing Crossfire don't do it for the latency. If you're doing long range, that 150 hertz low 16 millisecond latency or whatever, you don't care about that, and it probably doesn't matter. So that is an option to let you use Crossfire on a QX7 without doing the hardware mod. Espionage FPV wants to know what I think about the new SkyZone 02X. Well, at the moment, I haven't taken it out of the box yet. Bruce M wants to know, can I use a plane or heli DX7 with a quad, or do I have to buy a ready to fly for my first quad? A DX7 is a DX7, right? It's not like as long as it's got channels, it doesn't matter. It's not like a plane radio or a quad radio. I think it's a Spectrum, right? DX7 Spectrum. Yeah, it's just a radio, right? So it just makes channels come out the receiver. You can use a DX7 with a quad, absolutely. There's no such thing as a plane or heli radio versus a quad radio. It's just some sticks and switches that make channels come out a receiver. And those channels can go into servos and control a plane, or they can go into a flight controller and control a quad. No big deal. Dustin Melancone asked, do you prefer set curves and rates in your radio versus flight controller, and why? So, Michael Morgan, thank you for re-upping that question, and thank you, Dustin, for asking the question. I set my rates in the flight controller because Betaflight's rates curves are more sophisticated than what I could do in like a Taranis. For example, a Taranis only has like a 9-point or 7-point curve, for example, whereas the Betaflight curve is infinitely calculated at thousands of points. So you actually get a curve. With like a Taranis with like a 7-point or 9-point curve, there's inflection points in the curve where you can actually feel it sometimes if you're flying. So I set rates in the flight controller. However, when I do like, remember my video where I did 6S versus, I did 2150 kV motors, and I used the throttle curve to take the 6S 2150 kV up and down? That I do in the Taranis because I can actually just turn. I've got this potentiometer set, and when I flip this switch, then I can turn the throttle up and down using this potentiometer. You can't do that at all in Betaflight. You can't change you can have multiple rate profiles, but you can't just dial the rates up and down with a knob. Could you dial RC rate up and down with a knob? Maybe. It's much easier to do in the Taranis. So in general, I set my rates in the flight controller because it's more sophisticated. People are asking what they're wanting me to open the sky zones. Okay. Should you buy the MDS? Should you buy the Jumper T12 because it has Hall effect gimbals? I personally felt like the form factor of the Jumper T12 was not great. It's small and the screen is small and the buttons are weird. If you want Hall effect gimbals, I would just wait. I'm sure that Jumper is going to release a T16 with upgraded gimbals. I mean, that's not because I know something. It's just if you look at Jumper's radios, they always release a cheap version of the radio and then an upgraded version with upgraded gimbals. So I'm sure they're going to do that with the T16, especially because I'm hassling them to do it. And I would like to think I have a little bit of pull around here. Okay. Get out of there. Sky Zone, Sky02. Get out of there. Oh, I'm tearing the box already. Sky Zone, Sky02. Unboxing right here on the channel. It's not going to be a review. I can't review it without flying it, obs. Ooh, wow. Yeah, this is one of the fancy. By the way, love you, Sky Zone. Thanks for putting extra foam in. It's not great foam. It's not like the newbie drone foam, but it is 2 extra foams. So cool. Good for you. Heat shrink the actual goggles. Fancy. Here, I got to do this on camera so I don't lose you guys. Ah, where's my scissors? You know what I was saying earlier about how you have to hold people immediately in the first 10 seconds? That is one of the advantages of a live stream. Live stream's got a little bit different expectations and a little bit different pace. You can go a little slower on a live stream because people are just kind of there for the long haul, kind of. You don't have to work as hard to hook them and keep them. So this is water transfer. I can see from the backside. You can see a little bit of slime smearing here. So this is a water transfer case. That's pretty slick. It looks really good. It looks really good. Gorgeous. Honestly, water transfer is so cool. I'm really impressed with how it looks. So, I mean, that's nice. We don't have... I'd have to put diopters in. We got to take the... It comes with these little diopters, these protective diopters, which are nice, but I have to take them out immediately to get my... It won't come out. I have to take them out to get my prescription diopters in. Oh, I see. You have to take the freaking faceplate off to get the diopters out. Oh. My significant other just chatted me to tell me there's a pizza upstairs. So, live stream over. No. Let's see if I can put these in. When is my painting Fat Sharks video coming out? Introvert FPV. I made a video about painting them, but the result was not good. I'm going to remake and I posted about it, and people gave me some tips for how to paint them more correctly. Actually, some generous people offered to paint them for me, but I really want to do the painting so I just kind of want to do it. So I'm going to be trying again to make the painting video, but I have to wait for the HDO shell to come from Fat Shark's store in China. So Kosiba says optic Fisher lenses. These specific lenses are actually RHO lens. These are the ones that come with the 3D printed carrier. These are from a German company called RHO Lens. I actually found the 3D printed carrier to be a little bit fragile, and I prefer the optic Fisher lenses. But one advantage of the RHO lenses is that the 3D printed carrier does go very, very nicely into the goggles. Where's I need a Fat Shark battery now. Hold on. I don't have a faceplate on here, so I won't be able to test for light leak. Let's see how they look. They're on. All right, first look. It's pretty good. Yeah, not bad. We really need a quad turned on though to get a picture. I mean, how far are we going to go with this? It looks okay. It doesn't look too small. It's 16.9. I wish these guys would make 4.3 goggles. I wish they'd make 4.3 goggles. I think 4.3. Here's my argument. 4.3 is definitively the best aspect ratio. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Hang on. Okay. 4.3 is definitively the best aspect ratio for FPV because if you think about what you need to see while you're flying, you're usually looking toward the top of the screen because things are coming at you from the top of the screen. Think about it. When you're flying forward, you pitch forward, things are coming at you from the top of the screen. You need vertical field of view. When you turn in a car, it just goes sideways and you look to the side. Aha! For a car, you need a wide field of view. But for a quad, what happens? You roll into the turn and you're still looking up. 4.3 is the best aspect ratio for FPV, period. Yeah. It's changeable. David Tatum, you can change it to 4.3, but that just means it chops off the side of the screen. So now your field of view gets even smaller. I don't love it. 30 degree field of view says license to drive on the Sky Zones. It is a small field of view. I feel like 30 degrees is small enough that I am a little annoyed. Like the 32, 33, 35 degree field of view, that's so small that it's okay, but it's still pretty small. But down to 30 it's still usable. It's still usable. 570RC says, for the right sensor, camera, and lens, 699 is only a benefit. You get all of 4.3 plus extra width. But that's not actually true, Now, here's what you're trying to say, 570RC. What you're trying to say is that if you choose a lens that has the same vertical field of view, and then you just get a wider field of view and you're good. And that is true. You can choose a lens to give you the field of view that you want. But if you think about what is the image that is cast by a camera lens? The image that's cast by a camera lens is a circle. By definition, it's a circular lens. And which fits better into a circle, a rectangle or a square? A 4.3 sensor will always get more of the light from a camera lens and give you a better field of view. The flip side of that is the argument that the center of the lens is more better. Anyway. 507. Oh, I always say 570. Sorry, dude. Yeah. Face Wizard 13. Thank you for $10. I missed your super chat a few minutes ago. Thank you for $10, Face Wizard 13. Says, I own the Headplay SE goggles. I've been debating on getting Fat Sharks for a couple of years now. I can't find anyone local to try them, but I'm afraid to drop $500 plus on goggles and a receiver. Here's what I would say to you, Face Wizard. Yeah. Drop the $500. if they don't work for you, you probably can sell them. You probably can sell them. Or if you have Amazon Prime or Amazon, but especially if you have Amazon Prime, buy them off of Amazon. And Amazon returns are so easy. So look, let's look on Amazon. Amazon makes returns so freaking easy. Oops, sorry, typed too fast, but they figured it out. So here's Fat Shark HDO, $4.99. Prime. Boom. If you buy this and it doesn't work for you, just return it. Just drop it off at the UPS store. They'll take it right back and they'll put your money right back on your credit card. You'll have to pay like $8 in return shipping, but it's basically zero risk. Amazon returns are so freaking easy. They really are. In fact, just for kicks, I'm going to just, just because I can't resist, I'm going to just drop an affiliate link right here in the chat. If you click that and then you buy the goggles, I get a small commission. Yeah, that's what I would say. How do you take lipos safely onto a plane? Glow Hunter, what you need to do is you need to look up the regulations for your airline and your country. Within the U.S., the rule is that as long as they're under 100 watt hours, which is a 5,000 milliamp hour 5S, in other words, all the batteries we use as FPV pilots are under 100 watt hours. You can have unlimited number. They're supposed to be at storage charge and protected from short circuit. Some people put electrical tape over the plugs, for example, or 3D printed covers. That's the gist of it. That's really all there is to it. They're so expensive. You're absolutely right. But the thing is, if you buy them from like Banggood and you spend $500 and then 2 months later they finally come in the mail and you don't like them, good luck. But if you buy them from Amazon, I promise, like it really is, I shouldn't promise because I don't know your situation. I do this all the time. I shop on Amazon so much because I hate to leave the house because I'm just here all day making videos. Also, I'm a little bit of an introvert. I just buy everything from Amazon. We have Amazon Prime. I don't even think about it. And if I don't like it, I just go to Amazon. Look. I'm going to take a big... Hang on. No, this is not a good idea. Okay. I was going to say, I'm going to show you guys what I ordered. I shouldn't do that. But I don't know what's in there. I don't think there's anything embarrassing in here, but if there was, I'd be embarrassed. So, oh well. Look, see, delivered yesterday, a bunch of XT60s. Return items. Returning this item. What are you returning? Why are you returning it? I don't know. Bought by mistake. Comments, doesn't matter. Continue. Boom. How do you want it? Refund your Amazon balance? Refund back to your credit card. Done. Okay. There you go. That's it. It's going to cost me $6 to return this item. I'll get $4 back to my account. Now, the reason it's going to cost me $6 is for return shipping because if they ship me the wrong item or it was broken, that'd be different. But literally, all I got to do is take it to a UPS store. Do you have a UPS store near you? Do you have a UPS? Just take it to a UPS store, show them the QR code, they print you a label, you give it to them. 5 minutes later, your money is back in your account. Done. Couldn't be simpler. Let me just cancel this return right here. They don't care. There's just no risk. So that's what I would say you should do. Okay. Thank you, Dustin Millencolm, for the $5 donation. Thank you. Thank you, Eric Tunks, for $5 as well. Kosiba says, there are reasons why TVs and everybody else moved from 5.4 over to 4.3 to 16.9. The thing is, Kasiba, like 16.9 is a good aspect ratio for movies because human vision, our field of vision is a little wider than it is tall, right? So 16.9 or even a 2.35 to 1 suits our field of vision very well. But for flying, we're doing a very specific thing with our eyes and with our attention. And I feel like the 4.3 suits that better. Justin Bursterman says, has anyone actually been disappointed with their Fat Sharks? Yeah, some people bought the HD2s and didn't like the blurry edges. Some people bought the HD3s and had blurry edges. It happens. Drone Excursion points out, very naughty Drone Excursion, you can replace just about anything that breaks by repurchasing it on Amazon, then keeping the new item and returning the old item as if it was the new one. That is unethical, and I would never encourage you to do it. But you're right, you can't do that. Big Data Pimp, thank you for $5. Death rolling in flight, punches, and full stick moves. Reduced rates and went away. Swapped all 4 motors, and it got worse. Wow. So death rolls usually mean... Death rolls on aggressive moves usually mean bad motors or ESCs. Reducing rates and it goes away, that actually doesn't surprise me, because when you make abrupt moves that cause, like if a motor is just a little damaged or an ESC is just a little damaged, when you make slow moves, it can keep up. But then when you make an abrupt move, it falls out of the sky. So you reduce your rates and you're basically moving your stick slower, and it's fine. But then you swapped all 4 motors and it got worse. You swapped all ESCs and it got worse. And I guess, I mean, at this point, what's left? Swap the flight controller? Yeah. Yep. If you have blurry edges on the HDOs, Lee Southworth, man, I'm going to guess, Lee, that your IPD is a little weird like mine. My IPD is 1 millimeter wider than the Fat Shark support, and I get a little bit of blurry edges, and there's just nothing I can do about it. Mark Dibble has light leak on his HDOs. Bummer. That's a bummer. It's so tough. It's so tough to make goggles that fit everybody's faces. If you have light leak on your HDOs, can I suggest you check out that Newbie Drone goggle foam? The Newbie Drone goggle foam, I think, is the best at preventing light leaks. The trade-off is it's a little thicker, and as a result, the goggles are a little further from your face. But for the HDOs, they have the smaller screen. I think it'll be okay. If you get light leak from using LaForge on the second bay, what you need to do is get some black foam and stuff it into either side, or stuff it into the head tracker bay. You can actually stuff it in from the front if you're very careful. Don't damage your goggles, but you can actually kind of stuff it in right here to the side of the optics module and just gently stuff it in. Or you can pop out you can pop this out and you stuff the foam in here. If you're getting light leak from your LaForge, just fill the inside up with black foam and it'll block the light leak. The other place you get light leak is from right here. Right here there's an opening and you get light leak, and you can stuff foam back in this corner here. Yeah. Let's see here. Good boy Max Beamer in the Discord asks, I've been flying different 4-in-1s lately, and I swear they feel different. Is it in my head, or is it possible to feel a difference? Max, if they're all BL-Heli-32 and the same settings, I'm impressed if you feel a difference. But I'm not going to tell you you don't feel a difference. It's tough. Tumbleweed 30, I think the problem with my shell, with my goggle shell, is that it was the old Dominator shell. And the Amazon listing I bought it from said Dominator/HD2. But I think that the old Dominator shell is not the same as the HD2, HD3, and HDO. I think that the HD2, HD3, and HDO is the same one. However, what I would suggest you do is email support@fatshark.com and ask, can I please buy a Fat Shark shell from you? And they will know what you need and hopefully be able to sort you out. Kosiba points out, in Europe, Amazon is banning people who send back too much stuff. I mean, I don't know, Kosiba. Eventually, I think they go, hey, you're costing us too much money. But I don't abuse it. And so far, they haven't cut me off. Why does light leak matter, INFPV? Because when you've got the goggles on your face, you see the screen, and then, like, to the left of the screen, you see, like, just a white thing floating in the distance. It totally breaks your immersion, and it can hurt the image of the goggles. Now, when I put those goggles on, the only thing I want to see is what I'm flying. That's all I want. Mark Dibble says, Amazon will cut Prime membership for return abuse. Well, don't abuse it. Don't abuse it. But, like, I buy a lot of shit from Amazon. So I feel like I've got some slack. Anyway, Are you going to buy a $500 goggle? You know, the alternative is if you spend $500 on the HDOs and you turn out not to like them, somebody will buy them for $450. I promise you. And you're out $50 and that's not nothing. But like if you put a brand new, like opened, put on my face, flew for an hour, didn't like them. If you put a brand new set of HDOs up on RC groups or Facebook Marketplace and you say $450, $470, just didn't like them, perfect new condition, somebody will probably buy them. Chamber says Fat Shark's supposed to email me when they get shells back in stock, but it's been 2 months. You can buy them from Fat Shark's like Taiwan store. The name of it is something like, I forget, something like Aerial Sports. You can buy them from there. Robert English, have you ever had to repair a goggle screen? Is it doable? Not really, Robert. I mean, the thing is, I have opened my optics module. And in theory, I mean, you could replace the screen, but repair the screen, I don't know. Will old SkyShark teleporters work on the new Ready to Fly Tiny Whoops? Yeah, as long as you're on the Fat Shark band, the F band, they will work. Busty wants to know if I will review the Top Sky Prime 2. Busty, the Top Sky Prime 1 was so freaking bad. And I have so much on my plate right now. I'm not sure I'm going to review the Prime 2. Like, just, the Prime 1 was so freaking bad. Like, it was just a joke that anybody thought this. It was just so bad. How much is it? Top Sky Prime 2. Let's see. How much is it? That's what I want to know. No. 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 I will never review this goggle. Here's why. No. It's $87. I will never again review a Fat Shark style goggle under $100. They are all crap. They're all a complete waste of time and attention. There has never been a one that is ever worth spending $100 on. Not the EV100, not the Top Sky Prime 1, and I'm pretty sure that's all of them. I don't mean box goggles. Don't get me wrong. Like the EV800D is about $100, and it is a damn decent starter goggle. I mean like a Fat Shark style goggle. There has never been one that's worth. I just am not going to do it. I'm not going to waste my time. Forget it. I got other stuff to do. Sorry. Ethan Mitchell, will Fat Shark still honor their warranty if you cut the shells for the receiver mods? Ethan, Fat Shark is very realistic about their warranty stuff. If you do a little mod to let the aux power wire through because you're running RapidFire, if you just make a little slit in the shell, that's not going to affect your warranty. If in the process of doing that you gouge the thing with a soldering iron and destroy it, well, obviously that's not going to be covered under warranty. If you have a warranty issue that you didn't cause, Fat Shark isn't going to be like just a jerk about it and deny you just on principle. They're very realistic. So don't worry about it. Just don't do anything stupid and gouge your goggle or damage it. When will my review for this guy? Well, I just opened them, so I haven't started yet. VRD3 is also an excellent goggle. Yep. Cotiz reminds me, thank you for $5, Cotiz, reminds me that pizza is getting cold. It is true, the pizza is getting cold. Chris Quad, I also think the HD3 field of view is like the really perfect sweet spot. The HD3, now this is going to upset some of you because I used to love the HD2, and I still do. It's super immersive, but I did get a little annoyed with the blurry edges eventually. And I've been using the HD3, and they're really good. If I used the HDO for 4 months, I would tell you the HDO is perfect. So I don't know. Anyway. Well, guys, I'd love to keep going. It's about 10 o'clock, though. I've put in my 2 hours. And I hear that there's a pizza upstairs. I don't know why somebody ordered pizza at 10 at night. That's a silly question. But I hear there's a pizza upstairs. So I am going to bail on you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. I stream Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern and Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Do Q&A just like this. This is really fun for me. Not a little less Q&A in some parts. Just me sort of babbling. But you guys seem to enjoy it. I enjoyed it. And I really appreciate you coming out. Look for a lot of Free Sky access content on my channel this week. Let me just show you something here real quick. Hold on. Look here. These are some videos that I have ready to go for this week. I just got to do a real brief final edit. Access receiver firmware update. What is Free Sky Access? X9 Lite and X Lite Pro review. These are all things that are coming out this week. So look for some of that and anything else fun that I can think of. Thank you, Scott Masterson, for $1. Yeah, that's going to do it. I will see you guys throughout the weekend next Sunday for my next live stream. I got to go. I'm going to eat pizza. Good night, everybody.